Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we do start, let's give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of events have happened. We had Deku, and we also had the group. Now, they managed to escape UA, but were chased down by a zombie Shoji, who lost his legs and was going after them. He was like a massive spider, moving on all six of his limbs and trying to use them to chase them down. He was able to use his Duplo arms to his advantage, and he almost got them. But Deku, while he was running, found a cop's gun after tripping over them, and then a stranger tried to save them. He fired a shot at Shoji, and Deku struck him twice with bullets, him firing 4 shots exactly, and then being left with 5 left in the magazine. Now, Deku, he then killed the stranger. After they accused them all of being infected and were waving around a rifle. They were unhinged. They weren't very put together in their mind. They can understand that, but they just they reached for the gun whenever Deku had it drawn on them. They grabbed it and he just squeezed. He didn't he didn't mean to. It was an accident. He just didn't mean to kill. He didn't mean for the gun to go off. They He didn't mean for the gun to go off. That was how Deku was acting. He just retreated into himself. The idea of killing the infected he can understand. He can reason with that. But having human blood on his hands, trying to even just think about it that way, it's worse. The monsters, he can understand taking them down. They're not people anymore. But people are different. Now, it has been a little over 2 weeks since then, and that means we are almost 3 weeks into the apocalypse. Now, a lot's been happening since then, but mainly things have been weird. Now, Deku and everybody else started to notice quite a bit of things. The zombies, they are still breaking down. And Deku, he's tried to take notes on all this. His actual notebook for heroes is back at UA. However, he found one here in the shop. And he started to try and just catalog his thoughts. Just write things down and organize his mind. Busy himself. Because sitting here eating snacks, junk food, and, well, just stuff you get on road trips, yeah, it's not ideal. Everybody already knows they need to shelter in place and ration their food. And now that they have access to actual water, sodas, and juice, yeah, some of them are abusing that a little bit. And Ochako, she had a dream about this once. In better conditions, yeah, but hey, she's able to eat all the junk food she wants, drink all the soda she wants, and eat as much as she wants. I mean, to her, it's not the worst thing. To everybody else, though, they're not sure how to handle it. Ochako is in better spirits. Bakugo, he's concerned about leading the group. And then there's Deku. He is smart and able to be organized. However, with the guy he killed, it hasn't been easy for him. And currently Deku, he does sit there, cataloging his thoughts on day 20. It's weird. That going through his mind. Him writing a few things down. So far from what he's aware, the infected, they have been breaking down. Some have actually stopped using their abilities. Some have been also turning into melted wax. He doesn't fully understand it, but there's a lot happening here. He just isn't sure. He's trying to remain hopeful about everything, that maybe pros can help them, but he isn't sure. He's not sure of a lot right now. His thoughts are troubled. He's worried about a lot. Though, he hasn't changed. He can safely say that the bite doesn't cause them to turn. Though, that's still up in the air. Now, Deku, here's gonna flip back over to page 1. Him gonna look at the hardcover of the notebook and write a few things down. As right now, he's gonna look at the additional data. Bites don't cause the infection. They don't transfer it and turn you into zombies. They might transfer something, but I mean, it's probably the actual activation of a quirk that causes it. So far, that's what they have down. And then Deku does a look at a few more bits of data. Mutants break down faster than emitters. Their bodies turned waxier during the first week of their infection, while emitters broke down during the second week. He doesn't know if it's rate of decay or related to quirks, but it is noteworthy. And then Deku, here's a write something down. The possibility that zombies are mindless. He doesn't know. They might be on basic instincts, but I mean, it's weird. The zombies at school, if they could have broken down the door. So it has to do with decay? Are some blind? Deaf? Deku writing down blind, deaf, and putting question marks next to both of the two. As somebody, the dude will walk over and bend down. Deku looking up to see Ochako. What's up? You doing okay? I, I'm doing fine. Better, I guess. How about you? Her gonna sit down and turn, expressing about how her arm's doing better. They cleaned it up and gave her some medicine, but it's actually healed a bit, right? But it still does hurt. Yeah, so there's still that. What do you mean? Well, bites don't transfer whatever turns people, but they still transfer some sort of infection. I'm guessing it's because of the blood and saliva and bacteria in the mouth. Oh, so you're saying that people can still get sick, but not sick. Sort of. Listen, I'm trying to just think, okay? You worried? Hmm? About the guy. His name was James. James? How do you know that? Bakugo found some keys in his pocket, along with a wallet. He, yeah, I know. Not ideal, but we have to figure some stuff out. Oh, and that would be, I don't know, Ochako. Calm down. I'm sorry. I just, I keep playing it again in my head. The way his face just caved. Oh, sorry. I can't stop thinking about it. He was deranged. I don't think he was normal. What do you mean? Kirishima said that he saw a bite on the guy's arm, under his jacket. He thinks that the guy was infected. I don't really know, but it's a solid theory. Right. Listen, I don't know. Now, Deku and Ochako do begin to talk. Ochako, she has been doing better. She's been okay. Deku has helped to keep her grounded, and she's seen him somewhat losing it a bit. She can understand that. I mean, imagining being in his shoes. He's the one who's worried about people. Bakugo probably could have blasted that guy in the face and not thought a second thought, especially after having a gun held to his throat. Deku just tried to make the situation better, but it got out of hand quickly. They're all just kids. And that, it does go through her mind. As for Bakugo, he does sit there in the other room. Him thinking about what to do. They still don't know what card is. They don't understand a lot. But if they can get out of here. Though, is Shoji still stalking around? They know that they saw him, what was it, 3, 4, 5 days ago? Well, that's whenever he was last on watch, but he's concerned about going out on the roof. It's an idea, but going up there is not easy. Then about goes mind. Him going to turn and walk upstairs. Him going to open the door and step out. Him going to actually look around real quick and listen. Pushing open the door, as he does his step out, Kirishima does sit there. Him currently with a rifle as he does the look around. Him spinning around and seeing Bakugo. Him gonna bring his hand up and wave. Bakugo gonna walk over and ask him about if things have been quiet. Yeah. Bakugo gonna sit down. And Kirishima, he has to bring his hand up, grabbing his right hand onto his left sleeve. And going to shift it around. Listen, man, I'm gonna turn at the exact same time. I think we're fine. What do you mean? Shoji's gone. I think he went back to UA or he broke down. I don't know. But whatever was going on with him, it's over. I don't think so. We don't know. We've only got a few bullets and we need to make sure not to waste them. Yeah, you're right about that. You alright, man? I'm fine, just... I need a minute to myself. I was thinking about it a lot. You know, I really did like Mina. Yeah. She seemed interesting. Had a crush on her, Baka bro? No. I don't. I'm pretty sure you did, though. Yeah. Me and her knew each other back in, well, school. She was different. Outgoing. Yeah. I just, I can't believe she went crazy. It's just so different. The girl I was in school with, then that thing wearing her face. hmm I couldn't imagine that. I, I'm sorry, bro. I know I'm bringing down the mood. Listen, I just, I wanted to check something. Check what? Now, Kirishima, here's a turn to Bakugo. Him gonna open his mouth as he wanted to say something. Him gonna bite his tongue and just think about the implication of it. And it does worry him. Right now, him gonna turn and bite into a meat stick as he has to pull a chunk out of it. Him talking about it. You know, he never really did like these things. They're always a bit too greasy, though they're starting to grow on him a bit. Right now, Bakugo gonna look at Kirishima. And Kirishima, he has to stand up and look over the edge. Him going to hold the gun on his shoulder, talking about it. He's got an idea. they need to finally leave, right? I mean, pack up bags and see what they can do, take as much as they can carry. Where do they go? Momo talked about her house, but Todoroki talked about his. Really? Yeah. Everyone's sort of just thinking. Thought about going their separate ways, but honestly, I want to go home first. Really? Yeah. See if my mom's okay. I mean, I thought about taking off in the middle of the night, but you guys would be lost without me. Besides, Deku and I live in the same building. You guys do? Yeah. I mean, me and him aren't friends, but we've known each other for a while. Oh, I still can't believe he. Kirishima, would it be wrong to try and run? What do you mean? I'm just saying. I'm trying to figure out what happened to my mom, my dad. I'm concerned. And we haven't heard anything about the military. It's still up in the air. Is it a good idea to try and just run and get out of the city? Well, it's not a bad one. Momo said her place is outside of town. So we could all head there. Besides, I mean, you could break off with Deku and go to your place. Maybe check it out and see if your parents are fine. Then just head to Momo's house. Just let people know. And, yeah, if you don't get there, just assume the worst. You alright? I'm fine, I'm fine. I just think about my own problems. Kirishima Gones won't stop and face away from Bakugo. Bakugo gonna stand up and turn. Him gonna walk back downstairs. And currently, everyone, they did begin a bit of a discussion. Well, Deku wants to be left alone. Ochako's there with him. And Bakugo, he walked downstairs back into the room where Kendo, Denki, Jiro, Momo, Nejire, Tamaki, and Hatsume, they are all talking, trying to understand what they should really do. Momo's house is a solid option. But I mean, going back to their houses first and getting the resources there could help. Hatsume even pointed it out. They can get weapons there, clothes, everything. Each one of their homes is basically a safe house they can head to and jump to the next. I mean, if they head to one, they can jump to the next one when they need to. I mean, they could survive a week at each. And with how many of them there are, that could help them. But Momo, the idea of her home last is a possibility. The Momo wants to head there first. I mean, she knows the strategic point of it. High walls, gated, and, well, outside the city with plenty of land. I mean, take your pick. It's a fortress. Possibly safe, or infested by the help. Her family is either there or her dad's probably on a business trip. It's definitely an idea. Now, while that's going on, let's currently cut back to Kirishima, who, he does just won't stand there. Him looking at some of the infected and seeing one that looks a bit odd. It looking at Kirishima and staring at him, and with its hands outstretched, trying to reach for him. And Kirishima's gonna bring up his left sleeve. Him gonna want to pull it back a bit and seeing his arm. Since it's beginning to turn into a bit more of a waxy texture. And he's not too sure what to do. He tried to use his quirk, but he wasn't bitten. I mean, It just doesn't make sense. He's. Is he turning? I mean, he could stop this. Take off the arm and just survive. Though, would that work? The bites don't cause infection. He thought he had an advantage, but he doesn't. In Kirishima, he has to sit back down in the chair. Him gonna toss the meat stick over the edge, as he'll hear it fall down to the ground, and probably hitting a zombie. As right now, he's to sit back down and look at the rifle. Now, everybody, they are downstairs, and things are a bit more tricky for them to discuss. Right now, they need to understand what to do. And whenever Bakugo walked back downstairs, he walked into the other room and grabbed Deku, as they all needed to talk. Find out what to do. Bakugo and Deku live at the same place, so Bakugo's nominating they head to the apartment complex. I mean, just being there could help. The apocalypse started at the beginning of the day, somewhere around the middle of it, so presumably there were people at work. The city was busy and their complex is mostly empty. But that word mostly doesn't give people very much confidence. And Bakugo, he does get it. But he also tried to point out one other thing. The car out back, they'd be stuffed in it like sardines. So they need options. I mean, there is quite a bit of them. And that does mean something else. Now, some people do begin to argue, trying to understand what exactly to do. And this is where everybody, they do get to hear a sound. The 11 of them in the room as a gunshot is going to ring out. And Kirishima, he's upstairs with a gun. And that does concern them. Right now, Bakugo going to actually turn, looking at Deku, asking for the gun as Deku hears her reach for it and pull it out. Him and Bakugo heading upstairs as Bakugo, he does have that metal bar. And the moment the two of them would actually push the door, they do see Kirishima. Right now his head leaned back in the chair as blood is dripping from a hole inside of it. Now, Deku, he has a stare on. Bakugo staring at the floor that Kirishima's brains are painting. And that, it does alarm him. Now, people just start to run upstairs, since they thought that there was a problem, but then things went silent. Just one gunshot. And Deku and Bakugo, they sat there at the top of the staircase. Both of them just frozen with shock on their face, facing away from them. And there actually was where Tamaki, he did get a look towards Nejire, him concerned as the zombies started to pound on the door of the store a lot more. Now, Deku, he does actually step out. Him and Bakugo walking forwards as Deku, he waves the gun around the building. Him making sure that nothing can climb up the side. Since Shoji, he could jump pretty damn high. And if he's around, he heard that. He knows they're here. And that, it makes Bakugo question a few things. Him gonna walk over and just see Kirishima. Right now him with the gun on the floor facing away. It fell over. Now, Bakugo, he does it a bend down. And Deku, when he does it to realize that they're safe, he does it a turn, putting the gun back down into his pocket. Or at least into his waistband. Inside of his belt loop. Now, Deku does a turn. And Kirishima has his sleeve rolled up. And Deku sees something quite alarming. Since it just changes everything they thought about the infection. And Bakugo, he's still staring at Kirishima. Thinking about why fuck. This guy, he was, Jesus. Now, Deku, he does go to stare on. And Bakugo, he has a turn to Deku, staring at him for a second, since Deku's speechless. And the two, they do hear a commotion. Right now, this being where Nejire does come running up the stairs and talking about it. They don't have a lot of time. They're getting in. The windows have been broken into, and they're piling in. They need to go now. Bakugo gonna turn, grabbing the rifle, and gonna actually turn to Deku. As Deku, he has a look at Bakugo and somewhat try to nod. Right now, him doing so a bit hesitantly and with not a lot of confidence. As Deku, he has to take off running, and Kirishima, he is left sitting there in that chair. Now, everybody, they try to get outside. Them going through the back door into the alleyway, as Bakugo, he has to bring up the keys. Him going to actually walk over and go to the end of the alley. Him going to actually press the button as the car is going to unlock. All of them running over to it and trying to pile inside. Now, Deku, he has to pile into the passenger seat with two of the duffel bags, them containing food and medicine. And everybody, they start to pile into the back, along with even Tamaki and Nejire opening the trunk to pile inside. Now, everybody, they're trying to figure a few things out. And there actually is where space is very limited. There are 4 people stuffed in the trunk, 4 people in the back seat, and 2 people in the front. That's 10. And someone, they currently do to climb into the front seat and actually landing on Deku. Them kind of, well, comfier now. Since being in the back seat, it wasn't that roomy. As there currently is Jiro. Her talking about a few things, as Bakugo, he has to start the car and drive off. Him going to look around and see what they can do. As right now some of the infected, they do a turn, staring at the car. And Bakugo, he does just continue to drive. Everyone just a bit more silent. Not sure what to say or do, since they don't know what happened up there. And someone finds to speak up. Denki trying to ask about what happened to Kirishima. And Deku, he doesn't say a word. And Jiro, she does see the look on his face. Since Bakugo has that rifle and, well, there's blood on the stock of it. However, she doesn't say a word. Her just gonna sit there. And everybody, they are driving quietly. As the only noise they can really hear is the noise of the radio. It trying to report back in about what's going on. The message going to loop about a place they can all head to for safety. As it's only that, and the occasional zombie Bakugo is going to hit. Now, with that being said, Bakugo, he's making an executive decision with nobody else to say a word. He's heading right back to him and Deku's home, the apartment complex. And some people, they're a bit concerned. And there actually is even Momo, who, she's going to talk about it after Bakugo does a pass over a highway ramp. She can just tell him directions from here. Bakugo continuing to drive. And Momo doesn't voice her complaint. As Bakugo, he talks about it. He's got to check on his family. He's going to do that. And if none of them care, he can let them out here right now and they can fucking walk. And people, they fall quiet. And Deku, here's a turn to Bakugo. Him thinking about reaching for the gun in his pockets. And Bakugo, here's a turn looking at Deku. His face, not angry. And Izuku, he honestly can't lie. He wants to see his mom. And currently Deku and Bakugo, they do to pull up to the apartment complex. As things, they aren't too good. I mean, the apartment complex is the top of it destroyed. It looks like either there was a fire or an explosion up there. And Bakugo, that just makes him more concerned. Him gonna get out of the car as he has a turn and bolt up the stairs. And Deku, he has to have Jiro climb off of him. Her gonna turn to him and ask, "What the hell is Bakugo doing?" He's gonna check on his mom and dad. Listen, guys, you guys can come with us. It should be safe here for right now. I mean, my, we can find stuff. Be safer. Listen, we may have caused a bit of sound traveling over here, and some of the infected, they're going to turn, and see one currently shambling their way. I'm going to turn back, as Jiro does to express to everybody else about what they can do. She gets the idea. I mean, leaping to other homes is a possibility. Plus, after 3 weeks, their parents may have gone to that safe haven. And she does try to recommend it. But Deku, even he's not too sure about that. I mean, a place full of people? A place full of just survivors? That's a lot of people to take care of. And, well, with the information he knows now, it's sort of, if people are infected, if all of them are infected, then it's more than just everything he thinks about this fucking virus is wrong. That on Deku's mind. And Jiro, she sees a strange look on Deku's face as he has a turn getting out of the car, trying to just think about something else. Kirishima, he knew he was infected. He didn't realize that he was going to turn. So he just cut the cord. Fuck. That went through his mind. And Deku, he does go up the staircase and back to his apartment. Him trying to think about what he might see on the other side of that door. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.